We are back now with the battle over the future of TikTok. In a little less than 3 weeks, the Supreme Court is scheduled to hear a challenge to a law that could see the popular social media platform banned here in the U.S. That law goes into effect on January 19th. So if the Supreme Court doesn't save TikTok or its Chinese owners don't sell it by then, it goes away for some 170 million Americans. Now, there's a group waiting in the wings called Project Liberty, saying they have at least $20 billion to make what they're calling a people's bid to buy the app. For more, I want to bring in the president of Project Liberty. He's Tamika Tillman. Tamika, thank you for joining Top Story tonight. My first question, how much is TikTok in America worth? Is it worth $20 billion or is it worth much more?
Well, we're looking for ByteDance to define what exactly will be for sale, and it's certainly going to be challenging to put an exact price tag on this asset until they do so. We believe that it's going to be a significant transaction, but we also think it's a lot less than some of the very sky-high estimates that have circulated in the media. So for the time being, $20 billion seems like a good starting point for a conversation.
What does divesting from ByteDance actually mean, and have you had any conversations with the Trump administration about your effort?
Well, ByteDance faces a very clear mandate under U.S. law, and our assumption, based in part on the unanimous ruling of the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals, is that that law is not going away. And what the law says, as you outlined a moment ago, is that by January 19th, they will either need to sell or shut down. We don't want to see the app shut down. We agree with President Trump on that, and he's spoken out repeatedly on that point. And so that means that there needs to be a deal, and we are very eager to pursue a deal, and we think at the moment we are far and away in the best position to do so.
Who would approve the purchase? How would that work?
Ultimately, this is a process that will run through an unusual committee called the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States. They go by the acronym CFIUS. And if you think of this a little bit like selling a sports team, CFIUS is going to function like the league. They're going to determine who are the qualified bidders and ultimately have a big say in determining which bidder ends up with this asset.
Would the app change, and would China and ByteDance still have a level of access to information?
Well, in the near term, we want to keep the app and the experience as consistent with the user experience that folks enjoy now as possible. Over the medium term, we do see an opportunity and a need to make some changes for TikTok. The first is we believe that individuals should control their own information. They should control their own content, and they should control their own relationships. They should also be able to move that content and those relationships across other apps and publish their information and their content across other apps. Ultimately, we'd also like to see TikTok move from its current attention-based economy, which is focused on making the content as sticky as possible if you're being diplomatic, as addictive as possible if you're being a little more blunt, and moving to a place where people are able to, on a deliberate basis, identify the type of experiences, content, goods, and services that they would like to interact with.
I'm glad you brought that up,
move
because
from an attention economy to an intention economy will yield a much better user experience for everyone involved.
But that's, that's been one of the theories, that TikTok actually was sort of invented because it's different in China, but that it was sort of invented here, the app here, because it makes people at least a little more addicted and they can't get off the app. Is that what you're talking about?
Give me that one more time, Tom. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I'll ask you the question again. It looks like your IFB fell out there. And I'm glad you brought that up, right? Because there is this theory that the American version of TikTok is more addictive than the version in China. And that's on purpose to keep sort of Americans, to make them less productive, if you will, to keep them on the app, just doom scrolling all day and losing precious time. In your version of TikTok, you'd like to sort of eliminate that?
Well, it is true that the U.S. version of the app isn't even available in China. It's very different. It runs on very different parameters. And the Chinese version of the app, I think it's fair to say, feeds people vegetables. The U.S. version of the app is a lot more like junk food. We think that it's possible to have an incredibly engaging, dynamic experience, preserve the vitality and the creativity that have made TikTok the cultural engine of the internet, but while doing so, ideally give people the opportunity to identify what they are looking for from the app in their lives.
So, Micah, real quick, in a year, if I'm talking to you, will you own TikTok?
We certainly hope so, and we are in position to do a deal. We very much hope that ByteDance and President Trump enable us to move forward with a transaction.
To Micah Tillerman, we thank you so much for joining Top Story tonight.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.